Greetings, brothers and sisters. I hope that you can hear me well. Let me check the sound. Let me check the sound. But you can hear me well. Let me check the sound. Yes, that's good. Unfortunately, the quality on the, at least on the mobile phone, on YouTube's application, is far from being as good as what I can see on my screen. It's a shame. I wonder how it is. Is it blurry on your end? Because on my end, it's real nice and neat. Now, there's a possibility that maybe once the live streaming is over and the video will process, the quality will be better. But talk to me, brothers and sisters. Let me know what's up. And if you don't mind, then hit that like button. We only have one like so far. How is the quality? Let me know. I'm about to let the people know on Twitter that we are live streaming and also on YouTube, actually. And then we will start, okay? There's a couple of things that I want to address, and then everything goes. Anything goes. Feel free to leave your comments, your questions, your statements. So you have the invite link for those who want to join the conversation. So Clarence Bell says that it's blurry. Thank you for telling me. RP says this is sounding good. Greetings to you. And Dwight Pennington says that it's okay. So blurry, okay. Wow, it is what it is. Thank you for replying, brothers and sisters. Only 2 likes, so please hit that like button. It's free of charge. All right. I noticed that the comments appear faster on YouTube's mobile application than on the actual studio that I have there, but it doesn't make a huge difference. So let me inform the family that we're live streaming. Just bear with me. And at the same time, you can let your friends, relatives, family members know that we are live. So they might have questions as well. They might have statements as well. They might have things that they disagree with. So they are free to come and have a discussion with us. So let me just share this one. Community. That's it. So if you see a message appearing on your feed, then it was me now. RP wrote, "Get the likes up, stop playing, lol." Now, Dwight Pennington wrote, "As long as I can see you." Well, I'd rather you can hear me than you can see me, but I understand what you mean. The quality is blurry, but you can still see me, so that's fine. Now, let me share this on Twitter. Usually, I inform a bit earlier that I am about to go live streaming. Well, the calling link is not even appearing on Twitter. So hold on, let me. Why? I will try again. I don't see any reason why it's not appearing. Let's try again. What is Twitter up to? Is there something like any such thing as a limitation of the links that we can share on Twitter? Let me see now. No, that's not the one. No, now it's appearing. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. So the first thing I want to say, some of you have been leaving comments, and I don't like when he does that. Some of you have been leaving comments, and you might have noticed that I've been putting some likes on the comments. This is just a way for me to let you know that I have read the comments that you left. Do not take it as if I just don't care because I don't give a reply. Everybody is free to join us when we are live streaming to ask their questions. Really, with all fairness, you can imagine that if I was replying to even half or even a third of the comments that were left on my videos, then I would spend most of my lifetime replying to comments. So, really, always feel free, even if you don't want to participate directly using the calling link. If you don't want to use your webcam, if you don't want to use your microphone, you always have the chat. And those who are regulars know very well that I'm used to going through the comments in the chat section. So you are always welcome to do so. The second thing is that just today, I heard about some experiment that was done in North Carolina. Oh, I'm using the wrong one. I will share the link first of all. It's about a sterilization campaign targeting Black people. I've just shared the link in the chat. And what I will do, I will read from actually a French website called LCI. This is actually the number one news network in Europe. The link that I've shared is quite long. I have not read that one. I read the French one, and the English link that I've shared is the source for that French article. So, what it says in essence, in North Carolina, a sterilization program explicitly targeted blacks for 45 years. In a recent study, researchers have concluded that the authorities of North Carolina conducted a sterilization program particularly targeting the Black community between 1929 and 1974. The question of a potential genocide is asked. So that study was published online on June 28, and it states that Black people were particularly targeted. The study was published in the American Review of Political Economy, and it has examined the data coming from 2,163 eugenic sterilization made in North Carolina in the last century. That program, whose objective was to serve the public interest by preventing weak-minded or weak-spirited people from reproducing, and it was made on close to 7,600 men, women, and even children, sometimes only aged 10 years old. Even though some of those people went towards these operations because they did not have any other means of contraception, most of them was practiced by force. So I will leave it there because it's a bit of an exercise to translate live as I am reading. Remember that I was reading and translating in real time that French article. Uh, while we're at it, this is RP greeting us. This is Dwight Pennington. And we have Anthony Harris, who has joined us. Greetings to you, brother. I hope you're doing well. And RP mentions white supremacists know no bounds. Oh, it's just amazing the things that we learned and we found out. A while ago, we've heard about some mass grave around the White House, if I'm not mistaken. Have you heard of that, brothers and sisters? Anthony, I don't know if you are aware of that short video that I've made entitled Bible Maniacs Questionable. Hold on. What I will do here. This is what is messing up the. This is what the. This is why the lightning is being messed up. So the video is entitled Bible Maniacs. I'm not sure if there's a S actually, but Bible Maniac Questionable Logic. And it is Apostle Garfield talking about the story about Jesus chasing people away from the temple is a real story. Now, Anthony is asking me to post the link. No, I will put this away because I keep using this thing. Keep using that trackpad because it's in front of me. But you know what? Let's put this here. Let's put this here. Okay. So yes, Anthony Harris is asking me to post the link in the chat so you can see it. That I will do in a few seconds. I'm just there it is. It's a very short video. I'm letting people hear from the horse's mouth the allegation. I do that right from the beginning, even though that video was a live stream that lasts 40 minutes or so. But right from the beginning. So what should I put? Oh, actually, somebody is there in the chat. I'm sorry, somebody's trying to call in. So bear with me first. I'm just going to put Garfield's questionable logic. The link is shared in the chat. Now let me welcome our guests. Greetings.
Oh, what's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm doing great. Is that Anthony Harris?
Yes, it is. It's me.
Hey, brother, how you doing? You got a nice quality, man.
You say what?
Got a nice smartphone.
Nah, I'm in my car, man.
The video quality of your smartphone is just great.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. If you pay top dollar, you better expect that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, let me go back off the camera. I just wanted to let you know that it was me. one of the things I ask myself is what is it about the how can we sit up there and say the biblical narrative? What is it that everybody's so willing to accept when there's not even enough empirical data on that nonsense to accept it as being true? You understand what I'm
Hold on,
saying?
brother. Hold on, brother. Hold on, brother. Because I'm just thinking now that because the sound is coming out of my speaker, maybe there might be some sort of echo for the listeners. So just to make sure, I'm going to put my headset just to make sure that the sound is clear for everybody. So let me just audio speaker. There is. All right, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I was just sitting up there saying, can you still hear an echo?
No, I did not actually hear echo, but I was suspecting that maybe people will hear echo. But
Oh,
I'll find out when I listen to the live stream. Yes,
okay. Well,
but
one
the
of the
sound is
biggest.
great. You're sounding very great right now.
Okay, cool.
So
Thank you. Well, I was what I always try to ask myself, and I always ask them is, what is it about the biblical doctrine that you need to be real, and why is it relevant to you today? Because if all it's doing is telling you you're cursed, why would you read it? Because you'll begin to believe those things. You understand what I'm saying? I just don't understand that why we have these bibliomaniacs and it's 2020. David Banner said this. He said this. He said if Jesus didn't return when babies were being cut out of black women's bellies, he ain't never coming back. So
mhm.
I really don't understand what is it that anyone or everybody is looking forward to with this book. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't say anything's going to happen to you. It's the only thing that's cursing you is the fact that you're reading the book and the God itself tells you, I'm going to curse you. Why would you want to serve that? Why? I don't get it. I don't. Is it Stockholm syndrome? What sort of cognizant dissonance is this where we read a book and feel as if it's justifiable with everybody's doing to us, whether it's through eugenics, prejudiceness, racism, we're being destroyed because a God said so? Like, come on, man. We got to wake up from that. Like, how many lessons you got to do? I got to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why Garfield is saying some of the things he's saying about the biblical narrative now. I don't know why. I'm going to have to ask him about that, but it's just, it blows my mind with this thing here. I don't get it.
Hmm. I think he's trying to appeal to Christians. I mean, um, there are so many of them. It's a numbers game, and really arguing the historicity of Jesus Christ is something that anybody is free to do. But his logic, that's what fails me. I mean, that's what I can't get over. Him saying that because that tale of Jesus destroying the temple or chasing people away from the temple uh, is something. He's saying that this is something real. Really, I think he's so stuck into his separation of the supernatural accounts of Jesus and the quote unquote human account of Jesus. So here we have a human account, and he makes the conclusion that because this is an act that is humane, that is not supernatural, that is not in the realm of um, miracles and so on, then that makes Jesus real. And that's why I've said, and my intent is not to provoke the Christians, but I made the analogy with Spider-Man, Superman, and Harry Potter. Who's going to argue that those individuals were real in history just because they performed
Right,
some acts that normal human beings can perform? It's a great lack of
right.
logic.
Well, you know what we need to do? Me and you should just start saying cat in the hat is real. We should start saying that because it's in a book. They ask us, well, how can you prove it? Be like, it's in a book.
It's in a
But
book.
just
There it
because
is.
it's in a book, it's not real. Well, how come you don't? Well, how come you don't think like that?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like if he floated up into heaven and he's sitting with God, like the book say is, he's God. There is no human events in the book. He's God. God came down here and raised hell in somebody's temple that nobody can find any proof of, by the way, right? No one can find any proof of this temple anywhere, and he got his butt whooped. Jesus got his ass kicked because he was talking shit to the, excuse me, talking nonsense to those priests, which was a theocratic society, excuse me, a theocracy. Excuse me, because I'm driving and looking here. A
That's
theocratic
fine.
society. He got to talking all his spiritual talk, and when they asked him a question, it's right there in the book. They said, "Where you get this new doctrine from?" He said, "I get it from the one who sent me." And they said, "Who sent you?" This is what the book says. He says, "I come by the one that you don't know, that put eyes on him through the rest of the book." They're like, "Wait a minute, we serve Yahweh over here." You see what I'm saying? So he got his ass whooped. There's nothing to it. There's nothing more to it. All that other stuff is mythology. I don't think he was a real person. I go along with the narrative and kick it with people about him, but it's not real. It's just a story. That's it. It's a
And
story of
but
the spiritual mind versus the fleshly side. That's all it's representing. Because if you understand the parable, you will see that neither one of them were bad. You know what I'm saying? You represent both the priest and Jesus. That's what the story represents. It's allegorical at best, man. It's not meant to be taken literal. None of it was.
brother, have you ever heard about that documentary? Actually, a documentary is taken from a book called Caesar's Messiah.
Yeah, I've watched it.
Hmm.
I have the book. Actually, it's an excellent book too.
All right. And
It's an
I
excellent
think
book.
it's an interesting hypothesis. It's sure that the consensus of Christian studies will not agree with that. But I find it very interesting, and I recommend the listeners to watch that documentary. It's available for free on YouTube, but there are some questions to be raised about, indeed, the fact that Judeans were fighting against the Roman rule. And when we read
Yeah,
the
they
Bible,
were.
yes, but when we read the Bible, the Romans don't look that bad, and maybe there's some writing after the facts that conveniently show them in a good light.
Yeah, that's what the
Is there,
centurion
so brothers and
represents. He
sisters,
represents the Romans, and
and
it's by
also
it's called Caesar's Messiah by Joseph Atwill.
exactly, and brothers and sisters, remember the issue of people claiming historicity of Jesus Christ or any other person for that matter, just because it's written in the book, then we have to wonder what is the date for the records? Because I can never stress that enough. The dates for these tales or these records are way after the fact, decades after the fact, hundreds of years after the fact. And you need to bear that in mind. And furthermore, the Gospels were written in Greek. Would somebody believe that the
Yep.
followers of Jesus Christ spoke Greek?
Yeah, and you know what? I'm getting ready to do a little lesson on this Judean nonsense because people think Judeans is a race of people. They weren't. Judeans were people who lived in the Judean hillside, nothing more. That's all it means. They lived in the Judean hillside. It was a country town. That's what it was. The Romans called them Jews because of where they lived. It's the first time you begin to hear the word Jew. They started calling them that because of location, not because
Hmm.
of nationality and race. That's
Hmm.
crazy. The people were identified by their location, which was the Judean hillside. That's it. That's all it represented. no such thing as the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Ephraim, and all that other nonsense. Wake up! This is why every time they get on here, they start sprouting a bunch of nonsense.
Yes, brothers and sisters, we need to wake up, like the brother said. Um, Besides the issue of historicity, we have to wonder if that belief system worked for us. And I'm sure that most of us can agree that it did not work. 400 years of slavery for the Western branch of the Abrahamic belief system and 1,000 years of slavery for the Eastern branch of the Abrahamic belief system. I think that speaks volume. 1,400 years of slavery combined, even though some people claim that some people equate slavery with victory, but that's Asiatic black men for you. That's how they get down.
Yeah, man. I like I said, I would just love for an Israelite to come on here and tell us how does he know he's from the Judean hillside. But if he takes his DNA test, I guarantee you it's going to place him on the west coast of Africa, a E1B1A sub-Saharan African haplogroup. Most black people got that. E1B1A. That's what you're going to find every single time. Like, I mean, we really got to get up from this stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do the Israelites offer that the Africans weren't already teaching? Laws? We already had those. Resurrection deities? Choose one. You know what I'm saying? Choose one. Ritual? Come on now. We the kings of ritual. We the kings and queens of rituals. Temples? Pick one. Nothing is original in that book. It's all taken from African ontology. That's what it's taken from.
Right, brother. Hold on. Let me just include our sister RP who has joined us. Our sister RP who has joined us.
Hi,
Hello,
how
sister.
you doing?
Greetings, hotel to you. Doing
Hello,
great,
sister.
sister.
Greetings, hotel. How you doing, sister?
Doing great,
How you
sister.
doing, sister?
Hi, who's on the line? Anthony? Is that what it
Yes, I
says?
am. Yes, I
Indeed.
am.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Indeed.
Likewise.
I'm of openness, Israel.
Oh,
By nature,
snaps.
we are a dispassionate people.
I don't know if y'all can hear me. I'm hoping it's not delayed. I'm listening. If
We
you have
can
a couple more things to say, I want to hear it
we
before
can
I actually.
we can hear you loud and clear, but we hear
We can
ourselves
hear you loud and
on the
clear,
echo.
but we hear
Like I don't know if you can
ourselves
hear that,
on
but
the
I hear
echo.
myself
Like I don't know if you can
echoing.
hear that, but
Probably
I hear
because you have the
myself
speakerphone.
echoing.
Oh,
I'm of
Speakerphone.
I can't hear an echo. Well, that's good.
I'm in echo. Basically, I'm
My,
hearing my voice,
I'm
but
sorry.
that's fine.
echo. Basically, I'm hearing my voice, but that's fine.
Okay. I'm trying to remember what I wanted to say, but I keep getting text messages. It's getting on my nerves. I wanted to offer a position to you all that I'm not sure if it gets talked about, but there's a lot of sentimental real estate with Christianity. I want you all to consider one, the fact that we have people who were kidnapped, departed, and totally alienated from their history, culture, food, whatever, tortured, worked to death, and only allowed for centuries to have some freedom to go to church, right? And they're taught by either a white person or a black person that's been allowed to read the Bible about a white God, a white Jesus, so forth and so on. And then going forward, so now you have these indoctrinated people, right? And then they go through the transitions of all the things that have led us up to here. And the information is more available and it's coming out about Jesus, Yeshua, Kemet, Yoruba, heck, whatever. Like, you can pick whatever so-called spirituality at this point that you want to. But there are a lot of people that have that epigenetic history of enslavement with Christianity. And here's another thing. There are a lot of people that I know personally that have what they call testimonies. And these testimonies are sometimes about how they've lived very troubled lives, to the point that they were incarcerated, may have been in bad relationships, was on drugs, prostitutes, whatever. And then all of a sudden, something happens and they get the opportunity to go to the altar, give their lives to Christ, and then they have complete turnarounds. You're not going to have a good time, and to me, it doesn't make sense to even bother to wonder why, especially people like that hold fast to Christianity, because in their mind it saved them. And it doesn't matter that it's based off something else. All they know is Jesus saved them, not only from hell, but hell on earth, hell as life itself. Like, there's a Schuler King video. It's funny, but it's not funny. And the lady is up there singing, and she was like, oh Lord, nothing I did, nothing I smoked, nothing I drank, nothing I snorted, nobody that did me, nobody I did me any good. Like, and Shula King was laughing because it's like, wow, you just said too much. But she was up there singing to God, thanking God, like, listen, I was out here bad and loose. And if it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for Jesus, I would still be out there bad and loose. So I'd like to hear feedback on that.
You want me to go? You want me to go first, bro, or you want to go?
Yeah, sure. Sure. Go ahead, brother.
All right. Many times I hear these type of I hear this type of thing placed forth, right? Now, if black folk been going to church for 50-something years, and the first thing they say is, well, Jesus got me off drugs. But they never say anything about the bigger picture, which is Jesus done got our asses free. Jesus done saved us from this white man. We never see anything. When you begin to ask them, okay, well, did you talk to Jesus? They'll say, yeah. What did he sound like? What did he look like? What language did he speak? See, when they went up there and they placed everything on that altar, they believed. They have a belief that Jesus saved them because they're being taught that, because they are at a very low emotional state in their life. And then the pastor says, put it all on the altar. Sacrifice everything you've done and put it on the altar and give it to Jesus. That's what it says. And you will believe that. But there are many people who have done the same thing and have backslid back into their earthly hell. So just as much as you could say that, yeah, Jesus saved me, there's people that say, like, well, I never spoke to him. You saved yourself. You saw the higher self within yourself and you said, I'm done doing it. You didn't do it because of some imaginary man standing there with you. You did it because you wanted to stop, and you realize that whatever you're doing is self-destruction. And he convinced you, that pastor convinced you that Jesus did it. And you get up there and sing and you praise and you say, thank you, Jesus. Yes, it makes you feel good. I can't knock that. As a matter of fact, I don't really have a problem with Christianity. What I have a problem with, I have more of a problem with the Old Testament than, say so, the New Testament. The Old Testament execrates the Nile Valley Africans, which are my ancestors, and say that we were heathens, polytheistic devils, we enslaved these people when there's no history of it. So I naturally don't have a problem with the story of Christ. You see what I'm saying? Because Paul teaches you that you are the Christ and the Christ is within you, and to crucify your flesh daily. So yes, another thing you mentioned, I want to touch on is when you said that Christians have a sentimental attachment to Christianity. True. We grew up in Christianity, but there are things within that Bible that is associated with Christianity that Christians don't want to deal with, such as slavery in the Bible, such as the genocide in the Bible, sanctioned genocide by a God of men, women, and children sanction genocide, sanction slavery, and rape. You can rape a woman, and if she's a slave, you're not in trouble because she wasn't free. It's right there in the biblical narrative. It's right there in the law. This is God's law. But they never want to answer for that. You see what I'm saying? So there's a problem there. Because if I tell you I live according to Ma'at, which is balance, truth, peace, reciprocity, most Christians will tell me, oh, you a heathen. Well, why? I'm a good person. I'm not sinning. You know what I'm saying? 8 of your 10 commandments are found right in there. So it's not so much as a sentimental attachment. Sometimes it's the only thing they know. Sentimental attachment. Sometimes it's the only thing they know. Exactly.
Yeah, my mom is bad with that. Like,
exactly.
I was talking to her about a couple things, and she's quick to say, I tell you what, every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Jesus is Lord. You get up there in the end and bring up this stuff about Egypt. And I'll be like, okay, mama. And after that, that's when I realized that's all I could do with her.
The old generation.
Yeah. But it's a damnation. Like, we've gotten really used to that damnation concept. If you don't do this, then this, the if then consequences. So black people really, to me, have gotten to the point where they're like, listen, I just know that everybody's saying if I believe in this, I'm not going to go to hell. That's good enough for me because, you know, like, I guess they feel like they just want to know that they're going to have relief in a lot of ways. And because there was an opportunity freely to explore other types of spirituality, for them, it's like, that's it. It's a one hit or a one solution thing. Believe in Jesus, go to heaven.
It's that simple to them, indeed. It's all about belief. And there is also, as you have mentioned, the fear factor, the consequences. And when I heard Brother Anthony speaking, can you hear me, brothers and sisters? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I asked a question a while back, but how many people did God kill in the Bible? And I was also asking how many people did Satan kill?
And I was also asking how many people.
I don't remember. I don't remember the devil killing anyone. I remember the devil taking part of God's battalion of angels with him when he fell. I do remember Satan or whatever tempting Jesus. And what stands out to me the most from the Bible, which I mentioned before, is Revelations, where they say that God is going to fix the problem and lock up Satan, but release Satan for 1,000 years or after 1,000 years, something like that. Then say, you know what? I've had enough. I'm just going to let him go. I'm going to destroy him. And that's going to be the end of it. And that, for me, as a 10-year-old, started my process. I already had problems with Christianity as far as people practicing what they preached. But then when I read that, like, I was literally the little avatar with the smoke coming out of my head, the little emoji. Like, my head was going like, hold up. You're not going to sit here and really have me believe that God is going to solve the problem, but then let him loose again. Like, I didn't see a logic path to that. And no one can ever qualify that. It doesn't matter what they say, honestly. They could say, well, God is going to provide, a gilded heaven and you can have whatever you want, and everybody will be at peace for a million years. It still don't make sense. It still doesn't make sense, because it's going to be so much carnage that's done, if that's true, right? So that means God is senile almost, or just is, or decrepit itself, right? You're really about to do this? I'm sorry. I'm gonna mute my phone. I'm gonna mute. Let somebody else talk.
Feel free if you want to add on, Brother Anthony. But there are some things, so many things I also felt was not right within the Bible when I was coming up. And he starts right at the beginning, right from the beginning, the story of Cain and Abel. The fact that God accepted Abel's offering, and he did not accept. Now I'm using accept for lack of better word. I'm not sure which word they use in the English translation, but Abel's offering was more favorable in the eyes of God. That's why Cain was angry about the situation, and he ended up killing his brother. But I always thought as a child that this was unfair, that God would favor. Well, to favor, that's one thing. But he basically validated, and I'm using the word validate for lack of better words, he validated Abel's offering over Cain's offering. I'm going to look for, oh, we have servant of Yah. It's the first time that he is calling, so let's welcome him. Now, RP, he has is no longer there. She might come back. Now, servant of Yah, welcome to you, brother. Oh, RP is back.
Yeah, I had some issues. Sorry about that. So wait, I asked my mom to, a Bible maniac, a Bible file, whatever it is. I asked her why that happened because it stood out as right now I'm thinking of it as like the softening of the theme of discrimination and racism, right? Because it happens like in the first chapter or the first book in the Bible, God saying, I like you, I don't like you. So I asked my mom, why did he refuse the offering? She said, because it wasn't of blood, there was no meat. Abel or Cain gave God the offering of meat and and or vegetables like from his garden. And I was like, well, if that's the case, and if that's what he was doing, then an offering is an offering, is it not? And she was like, yeah, but it has to have blood. And I'm like, I didn't understand it. But then, like I said, if we're also going back to the Bible being a conditioning method, then that's softening a lot of people up to accepting racism, accepting discrimination, and also inculcating the need for meat, right? To be carnivorous. You have a carnivorous God, like a bloodthirsty God. And therefore, and it just kind of cascades out from there.
I just wanted to say something real quick. Can you hear me?
Yes, I thought you were a brother. Welcome,
No.
sister. That's servant of
No.
Yah, right?
Yeah, I'm a sister. How are you? I love your channel. It is very enlightening. I just
Thank you
want to
very
say
much.
the one inherent thing that is problematic with many organized religions is that it creates dependency. That is the key thing. It's telling you don't have it within yourself. You have to look over here for your redemption. You have to rely on this and that over here for your redemption instead of looking within yourself, because everybody has the power within themselves to achieve what they want to achieve. It has nothing to do outside of yourself. It's your will. And that is what has damaged our people, is thinking that they have to rely on something outside of themselves for whatever. They're studying because they know that that's most profitable. If they keep you dependent, you're going to give them money. You're going to give them what they want because you're saying to yourself, I can't do it without them. That's the inherent problem. I just wanted to give my 2 minutes. Hopefully that makes
It's true.
sense.
It's
But,
true. Like a lot of people say, I can't do it without God, or, if it wasn't for God, if it wasn't for Jesus, I wouldn't have been able to blah, blah, blah. I agree.
Exactly. And, it's just, it's like a poison. It's like a cancer. And, it's hard to get out of that mindset, especially when you're, they play on the fact that we're a downtrodden people, that, we're looking for something. We're looking for a savior. We're looking for anything that'll give us some type of hope that there's something better than this. Well, yes, there is something better than this because you have it within yourself to make it better. You're about choices. You're about what you choose to do or what you choose not to do at the end of the day. Your life boils down to the choices that you make. And that's all radiating from you, not something outside of yourself. Another thing is that we need to learn how to meditate. That is how you really connect with the universe, so to speak, God, however you want to call it. You really need to, we need to get back into that practice because there's something about it. I mean, we're energy. We're that's what we are. We need to connect to that ultimate energy in order to recalibrate ourselves. And because we don't even want to think about that, we don't even, it's not even in our zip code, nobody's doing anything like that. And that is like so key. I don't know. My 2 cents.
I agree. Like there isn't enough introspection done. Like in general, a lot of people use Christianity as, like you said, a handicap to not fix themselves.
Correct.
Like if something happens, right? If something happens, I grew up. I had some crazy times in church because I literally grew up. I was supposedly Catholic because of my dad and mom. When they got married, they were Catholic. But after a while, I was raised by someone else. And the other person was practicing Baptist. So I would literally be in Catholic school learning Catholicism, which was a little bit like, it was weird. And then going to Baptist church that was a little bit more accepting, but still had its restrictions. But then when I was back with my mom for a while, she started going to like Pentecostal churches or whatever, where she said it was spirit filled. And in these churches, people would be called out of the audience, be like, you come up here. God told me you got a spirit on you, and da da da. Or sometimes people would go up voluntarily and be like, I need deliverance. I smoked again. I drank again. I looked at porn again, whatever. And then they'd go through this process of being delivered. And it was never like you said. I kind of started drinking. I kind of started smoking on my own. Why did I start smoking? Why did I start drinking? It was a demonic spirit. They were being oppressed or they were totally possessed. According to the people in the, like I said, the more Pentecostal situations.
But then again, it's taking it away from the person. Again, that's the choices that you made. It's not something inside of you say, hey, go pick up that joint, or go pick up that 40 ounce. That's the choice that you're making. And that's what most people don't want. They don't want to stare at the man in the mirror at the end of the day. You are your choices, period.
Yeah. I think people have
We have free will.
Yeah. I think people get to a point too where they make so many bad choices that there can be a manifestation of negative energy, because I
Without a
have
doubt.
seen people, right? I have seen people literally, yeah, be dispossessed of whatever. And like one time we were in church, this lady went up, she started growling and hissing like a cat. Then now this, no one can explain this, but it is what it is, right? So the pastor got up there, started rebuking stuff. She started throwing up like bright green vomit. Then he said, in the name of Jesus, I command you to go. And the door opened and slammed closed. Now, the way I process it now, that energy answered at the time to a stronger energy, which was in the pastor. I'm a leave it at that without,
Correct.
trying to break it down more. But again, going back to your point, if I sit here and wallow in certain things so long, yeah, I've chosen to allow something to enter and permeate my threshold, my
Correct.
everything.
Yeah, it overtakes, because we are energy. So, I mean, just think about when someone walks in the room and they just have such a negative energy. You're almost instantaneously repulsed, and you don't know why. You're like, I don't know this person. Why do I want to run out the room? Why do I want to go in the other direction? Then there are other people that you meet.
I'm
So
sorry,
you don't know them from
sister.
Adam.
You,
Can you hear me?
sorry, sister servant of Yah. Yes, it did break up. Can you just start over again?
Okay.
You
What
mentioned
I'm
when you come in a room and then it kind of broke up.
sorry. What I was saying is that, yes, it's about energy, because, how do you explain when you walk into a room and there's someone emanating such negative energy that you don't know from Adam, you have no emotional connection to them, but you want to go out of that space. You don't want your energy thrown off by what they're emanating. And just same as when a person is emanating positive energy, you want to be around that. You want to, absorb that. So yes, it definitely, and all of that, at the root of that is your mind. That is what it's at the root of it. I don't understand how people just don't get it. Like, look at yourself, man. Look at yourself. A lot of problems would be solved that way. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to, put my 2 cents in. That's all. So sorry if I'm
That's lovely. That's
coming.
lovely. Feel free, brothers and sisters. No problem. Just any topic, anytime. Feel free, brothers and sisters.
I appreciate your channel too, brother. You taught me a lot and made me think about a lot. These are things I've been questioning quite some time now, with another friend of mine who's in California, and we've been going back and forth about the Bible and just, like saying, man, why is there such cognitive dissonance here? Like you're reading the word, but your spirit is telling you something not right. And so he's been a great, kind of founder, and we've been looking at these things, looking at trying to understand our history, where we actually come from, because we're people who don't know who we are. We have no idea who we are as a people, no clue. And the history books aren't telling you the truth on purpose, because they don't want us to know who we are. Because once we do, that's when real power starts to happen. That's when real change starts to happen. So they're doing everything in their power to make sure that does not happen. So I definitely, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate, what you're doing. And I know it takes time and money and effort and whatever, the whole nine. So I just want to tell you that I really do appreciate it. I learn a lot from a lot of these live chats and even the videos you post and everything. So I just want to say a big thank you.
Thank you. I'm really glad that you learned. Yes, go ahead, sister. I didn't mute you because there was some loud noise, but yes, go ahead, sister.
Oh, okay. Yeah. My bad about that. Yeah, the cognitive dissonance, I think too, when we think about the origins of, the Bible after a certain point is being told by all white men. Is it not basically King James and whoever else? Like, so that is a lot of where that cognitive dissonance comes from, it has to contradict to confuse us. So you end up just holding on to the parts that make a little bit of sense more, and then accepting the rest to salvage that little bit that seems to make sense.
Well, yeah,
And I also,
because
yeah, I also want to make a recommendation. Go ahead. You were gonna say something. I'll recommend it after you talk.
sorry about that. Well, I mean, again, their mission, they had a mission. It was like propaganda. They, it was to serve their purpose. And once you have the mind of someone, you have that person. So it's clear when you read scripture, you're just like, this reads like propaganda. And that's where the cognitive dissonance comes in, because they're like, oh, yeah, if it doesn't make sense, then that's just your lack of wisdom. No, that is my wisdom saying something's not right.
Right. There's a channel that I want to recommend actually is Chematones. Chemet tones as one word, one T, sound healing. I know the lady, she's actually an astronomer, but she does the sound healing with tuning forks that are basically tuned to the frequencies of different stars, and also to the frequency, I'm not sure how they did it, of the different gods and goddesses of Kemet. And she just celebrated like the Kemetic New Year. I had, I'm still learning, so I just found out about it. I think it was called Kepra, something like that. But
Yeah.
I use that channel also to do, like you said, meditate. I listen to the chimes. I try to purge, whatever, and then go in and deal with stuff. She even did like a whole 21-day healing from post-traumatic slave syndrome with the chimes. And, it's really nice. But, we also have been turned off, like I said, the meditation and anything that strays away from what we've been told. But I think a lot of people are going to come around because the actions aren't meeting the words, and the outcomes aren't meeting the words that we're constantly being told. Like I said, about 10 years old, I started to look around like, okay, somebody's lying. I was like, either God isn't real, or God is real and don't care, or y'all lying on God.
Right. Well, that was your spirit. That's what that was, your spirit saying like, nah, brah, something not adding up. So, yeah. And I think that's part of the collective consciousness of what we're feeling now. Like, to me, 2020, I really look at it as a year of perfect vision, seeing things for what they really are, not what you've been told, not what, you've read. Like the veil is rent. We're seeing behind the curtain. At the Wizard of Oz, like, oh, it's just some little dude back here for real. So, yeah. And a part of that, I think, is getting back to, understanding about our ancestors, meditating, so that we can channel in on that overall energy. Because when that happens, that's when the power happens, man. I'm trying to tell you.
What do you think, Shaka?
What do I think about what in particular?
I don't know. I was
But
just
you
wondering.
mentioned servant of Yah was saying that was your spirit when you felt like something wasn't right. And I was alluding to that earlier, but that happens so many times with me and Kane. And actually, I went to check the KJV version, King James version, and it says, and I'm quite surprised that this is the translation in English. It says, now that's Genesis chapter 4, verse 4, and Abel, he also brought of the first of his flock and of the fat thereof, and the Lord had respect upon Abel and to his offering, but unto Cain and to his offering respect. So that word used is strong. Yes, go ahead, brother. Go ahead, sister.
But don't you think that the main
Go
point,
ahead,
because
sister.
at
Go ahead.
least that's how I looked at it in terms of the interpretation, that God accepted it because he was bringing him the best of what he had, not just some stuff lying around that he gathered together and said, okay, here you go. It was the fact that he thought ahead of time what he was going to do and saying, you know what, I've got to bring the best for the best, not just something that I pulled together just to be giving. That's how I looked at that scripture. Maybe I'm wrong.
There ain't no telling, I would think, because again,
Now,
like,
I can understand.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead, sister. Go ahead.
Like I said, probably ain't no telling
Go ahead,
because
sister.
my mom got her interpretation from somewhere, and the interpretation she gave me was one was meat and one was vegetables, and I even had a picture Bible that showed two white-looking men bringing an offering up to an altar area, and one was like a slain lamb to reiterate that, imagery. And
Right.
then one was the vegetation, and it looked good to me. It looked like something that could be eaten. So that's why I was like, why is one bad and one's not? She was like, it has to have blood. I'm like, the fluff, like God, like it just broke my mind a little bit. Like, you're talking about a person or an entity that makes planets, gotta eat steak, gotta eat meat.
It makes no sense, right? Cognitive dissonance. Exactly. It doesn't make sense. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, what do you go by? I'm sorry, Ma channel guy. What do you actually go by? Like, is your name?
Oh, well, my name really is Shakandu Kemet, but the name of the account, of course, is Ma'at Forever.
Okay, so Shaka is your first name? That's what you go by?
Shaka,
Okay.
yes.
That's
Yeah.
how I'll call you then. So
Not my government name, but
No,
it's
no.
the name I chose for myself.
yeah, got it.
Yeah.
I forget my train of thought now. Yeah. Oh, no. I was going to ask you: weren't our ancestors vegetarians and fruitarians? Didn't they not eat meat?
I wouldn't say, at least for Kemet, I wouldn't say. Now, I remember Laila Africa saying on one of his videos that people ate little meat in Kemet because he was saying that people will highlight the fact that in the scenes of offerings we will see meat. But we'll see meat in Kemet. He mentioned, if I'm not mistaken, he mentioned that the meat will be mainly for offerings and that people ate little meat in Kemet. But I don't have any indication that, at least for as far as Kemet is concerned, because it's a very documented society that is ancient. I have no indication that they were not eating meat. But how much meat they were eating, that I cannot really say. Maybe later on I will have more indication about that.
Okay, I was just curious about that. But anyway, I just
Sister Servant of I just had a quick look, and I didn't see any mention of Abel giving his best. It just says firstlings. But even if it did say in the Bible that Abel gave his best products, I still think that it's not fair that God had no respect for Cain's offering. I mean, it's an offering, At least if he said that I preferred Abel's offering, but I think it's very strong. I mean, the King in French, it's more of a euphemism. The words used constitute more of a euphemism, but the King James Version definitely says, but unto Cain and to his offering he had no respect. Now, maybe there's the connotation of respect as we see it nowadays, but that was just for the record.
Well, also you could think of it, because God, or whatever, however you want to term it, is all-knowing, right? Omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent. So obviously he has ultimate wisdom. So to me, that the way that he approached that is problematic because it's divisive. Any, when you look at it inherently, it's divisive. It's like saying, no, I reject you, but you're okay. And I agree with you. I don't think that anybody who has an ounce of wisdom would present himself in that situation the way that the scripture is doing it. I agree with you 100%.
Right.
But
I think we lost RP.
oh,
And
I'm
Anthony
still
Harris.
here. I'm
Yep.
just in the
Oh, you
store.
should see. Okay. 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 That's great. That's great. But Anthony Harris has gone. But if you have any questions, brothers and sisters, feel free. Oh, Anthony Harris just wrote a message. He wrote, "Lost my signal." Do you have any questions? Maybe, servant of Yah. It's the first time you call in, so feel free if you do.
no, I think I've said spoonful, so if I'm going to actually bow out, but this is great format and form, so hopefully I'll get a chance to call in again and
Okay, sister.
vibe with everyone. So appreciate what you do, brother.
But thank you for calling, and always feel free to call in.
Okay, thank you, and bye. I don't know her name, but it
That's
was nice
RP.
to talk to you. Oh, maybe if
Yes.
you could put in the chat, Shaka, what that website she was talking about the lady with the chime, that might be helpful.
Oh, um,
No, yeah.
Kemet. I did have a look earlier, but I will share the link. You just have to filter channel. This Kemet tones, cosmic sound healing. I'm sharing the link now in the chat. Hold on.
Okay.
Kemet tones, cosmic sound healing. Yes, I've shared it in the chat.
Okay, awesome. So thank you. I'm going to bow out now, but thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, sister. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Now, Darius wrote, Imhotep Shaka, I have a question. 3200 BC is when the two lands unified into Kemet. The time before was called pre-dynastic. Do you know anything about pre-dynastic Kemet? Not so much, but we have we have a considerable amount of records. And let me look for the video. I've uploaded a video quite recently that shows a timeline of Kemet. Where is it? Not there. Not there. Oh, there it is. I'm about to share the link in the chat. As a matter of fact, you know what? I will show the link on
As a
the
matter of
screen
fact,
so
you
we
know
can
what?
all see together. So go like this. Well, I will still share the link.
I'm
However,
back. I was just
Hold on.
in the store.
Hold on.
all right, sister. So
All right, sister.
first, let me share the link.
So,
Let me do this in order.
first in order.
Let timeline.
Let's timeline.
The link is in the chat. Sister Abby, we have some echo. Can you mute your mic, please? What if you while you are not talking, if you don't mind. Thank you, sister. So let me share the screen. Let me share the screen. I can't remember which sister said 2600 for 2600 BC for the pyramids. But this is the Louvre Museum. They have this timeline, and we can see that it shows the period known as Nagada the first. And then we have Nagada the second. Nagada the second is from 3500 to 3300 BC. So this is pre-dynastic. It starts from 3800 BC. And then we have Nagada the third from 3300 to 3100 BC. And then this is the first dynasty. It starts with Narmer. Now, commonly the date is 3100. Our brother Darius wrote 3200 BC, but give and take 100 year, that's fine. I'm pretty sure that not exactly all the Egyptologists in the world agree, like down to the year or to the decade. So there are some artifacts in the Louvre Museum from pre-dynastic times, but you don't really have whole text. You have like names. You have the king. It's a serpent king. Um, you also have that dagger and a few other artifacts as well. So I personally don't know a lot about pre-dynastic period. That answer the questions. Now let me unshare. And uh, Traore Nico wrote, we must monopolize ourselves, we build ourselves with the egregores of our ancestors, as Dr. Umar. I will leave it there. I'm going to be diplomatic. I'm waiting for the school to open. Was there a fire? Or is that a joke or a hoax? But was there a fire in the school? Darius is asking, what is Nagada? That's the name of the period. You have several periods. If you have a look there, it says chronology of ancient Egypt from 3800 to 30 BC, and then it will show you the different periods. It's just the name of a period. Sister RP, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, honestly, it's hard for me to keep up with dates and years and stuff like that. As much as I try to, I'm really good at like the philosophical side of things and analyzing that way. So I really do appreciate like you and the people that have come on that pay particular attention to time periods and everything, so y'all can see holes in what other people are claiming. I really appreciate that, and it helps me a lot to have a reference. So like even what you just did right then, yeah, I just want to say thank you for what you do and your platform. I'm sure other people appreciate it too. um I gotta go, unfortunately. I hope somebody else calls in. I'll try to catch you know the live chat on YouTube or whatever. But yeah, I just want to end it and say, you know what? When a person lets you know what they believe and what they don't believe, you know, unless the person is asking questions, they're not really in a mode to learn. So don't try to say anything else to them. Just let it go. But then if they start asking questions, then that's your opportunity to expound on what you know and expand their mind. Otherwise it's just a waste of time. And we'll go back and forth forever with people that believe the Bible, people that don't, people that practice Jainism. If you wouldn't take the time to try to express and convince someone that practices like Hinduism or maybe even Satanism about certain things, then don't do it with Christians because they're probably going to be less open-minded in my experience, you know. So thank you for your time today. Thank you very much. I'm catch you in PayPal pretty soon because I really want to make sure you can keep going. Yeah. And
Thank you. I
tell your
appreciate that,
wife and the
Sister
baby I
Arky.
said
Thank
salutations.
you. I appreciate that, Sister Arky.
Yeah, no
Thank
problem.
you very much.
All right, later, y'all.
All right, take care, Sister. All right, Sister. So Darius wrote, the fact that the pyramids were built so early shows the fact that the pyramids were built so early on shows that the Kemetic culture existed long before 2600 BC and before 32,000 BC as well. Yes, it existed before. It existed before. And it might be confusing knowing that we have the dynastic period and the pre-dynastic period. There's also an issue of the dynasty zero, but it might not be brought up too often in the English-speaking world. But I think it is also known because this is down to the Egyptology. But yes, we have the pre-dynastic records. So we have names of some kings, and so we have attested people historically. And of course, there has to have been some life and activity before the recording of events. Inspired one wrote, eating Brussels sprout while listening will join another time. Enjoy your meal, brother. Right now, brothers and sisters, it's 1:30 a.m. right here in France. So I will call it a day. We have been live streaming for an hour and 20 minutes, and it was definitely full of different perspectives. We had Brother Anthony Harris, we had Sister RP, we had the Sister Servant of Yah, and also the interaction from the chat. So thank you all, brothers and sisters. And one thing I will ask you to do before you leave, brothers and sisters, is to hit that like button. I don't know how many there has been so far. Well, 15. That's better than yesterday. Yesterday was very low. But if you don't mind, just hit that button so we can have more likes. I'm pretty sure that it's very helpful in terms of ranking and recommendation or suggestion, just suggestions. So remember, brothers and sisters, to subscribe to the account My Art Forever. Now, this is a website for those who want to go there, and really remember to follow me on Twitter, My Art Forever. And for those who feel generous, then feel free also to make a donation on PayPal. Don't forget to share the videos that you like, particularly the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. And as a matter of fact, I will share it now. I will share it now. If you haven't seen it, brothers and sisters, then make sure to watch it. There it is. Kemet and Ma'at. Now, Darius wrote, as always, thanks for the information. I'm sorry, as always, thanks for the informative videos, M Hotel. Thank you, thank you, brother. I'm sorry. Dua Sen, thank you very much. So, brothers and sisters, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Each one teach one. Rule number one, no fence riding. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will definitely holler back at you later. Now, before I go, let me use the outro. Hotel.